Hi, I'm Stefan, the BMW DIY guy, and do you want to dramatically improve the sound of your BMW M2 with AWE? I'll show you how. All right, guys, let's talk about this project. I am super excited to bring to you a premiere for the brand new G87 M2, and that is the Track Edition exhaust for the M2. This is a brand new release. I am really excited to do this, and if you think your M2 is too quiet, this is gonna fix it. So this is gonna be the install of their brand new mid-pipe and Track Edition exhaust, and I'm gonna walk you through this whole process. Now, before you do that, you gotta get your car up in the air. I always say this, guys, when we have our car lifted. You can do this with jacks and jack stands. Make sure to use jack stands. Please don't bet your life on a 50-cent part, okay? It's just not worth it. I love my Quickjacks. They make this a really safe and easy project. So we're gonna get underneath the car. We gotta measure some pipes. We're gonna cut the existing exhaust. Let's get started. All right, guys, so here we are underneath the car. So this is going to be the driver's side on this side, passenger side on this side. Now you can tell the differences, among other things. Driver's side has the hanger, passenger side has this fixed hanger. So we're going to be making several cuts, and we're going to talk about this a little bit. So you're going to be measuring 60 millimeters from this bracket. So mark all the way up, make a clean line. I've already made one tentative line, and I'll mark it better here in a moment. And then on this side, you're measuring back. So this is the back of the car. You're measuring back from this bracket 108 millimeters, okay? So mark those really, really well. And then the other thing you're gonna wanna do is use a hose clamp to put on the pipe to get a nice clean circle all the way around. And I'll show you what that looks like in just a second, but we wanted to get this started and show you what this looks like. So measure both sides, use your hose clamp, and then we're gonna make the cuts. But I'll show you what that looks like all drawn in. All right, guys, so really quickly, this is just what I'm talking about. You just tighten down a hose clamp on the pipe itself, then you can use that to get a nice clean line all the way around. So when you do cut this, you will get a nice straight cut without any angles. Now, a couple of things before we cut this. I'm a big fan of the Sawzall or a Hackzall. I do like Hackzalls because they're smaller framed. Sawzalls will work. You can always use a manual pipe cutter, but I don't know why you wouldn't use power. Now, in addition, because of the way when you have to cut these, you essentially have to have your face underneath this pipe, checking both sides, making sure that you got a good clean cut. So at least use eye protection, and I highly recommend like a $2 plastic face shield. You will thank yourself. You will get hot metal coming off the pipe as you cut this, so do not get hot metal in your eyes or your face or whatever. It's really a hassle, all right? So go ahead and cut both sides. I'll show you what this looks like when it's done. All right, guys, so as you can see, we've got good clean cuts on both sides. So now we're going to be taking the OEM exhaust line down. Now, of course, this is because we're getting the mid-pipes as well. If we didn't get the mid-pipes, we'd be cutting in a different place. But this is mid-pipes plus the back. So you've got a hanger here. These are all 13 millimeters. You've got a hanger here that's holding up this side. And as we come down, you have your crossbody brace right here. Don't do the inset 13 millimeters. You only want to do the outset, 1, 2, 3. So I usually will take the cross brace off, and there's 3 on the other side as well. So take that off and work your way down the line. Now you can do this potentially by yourself, but it also helps to have someone along with you. So what I normally do is I'll take the cross brace off, and then I'll come down and I'll get these mid hangers here. Make sure to unplug your exhaust valves right here. It's a little depression tab. That's gonna be hard for me to do with gloves on, but a little depression tab, and just pull it off just like that. Make sure to do that on both sides. And then there's hangers back here as well. So what I will normally do with my 13 millimeter socket is I'll take the cross brace off, then I'll work my way down. I'll take off the hangers on both sides here, and then you can take both hangers off at the tail. If you have an extra set of hands, have them hold on to the exhaust at that point, or use a jack stand or something similar to hold it up. And then you can come back up the line, because the only thing that'll be holding it in at this point is this hanger here, because we cut on this side of this hanger. So that way you can walk the whole thing down and then walk it out from underneath the car. Okay, so go ahead and take all of those off, take the hangers off with the 13 millimeter, and then take your exhaust line out, and we'll set it aside, and we're gonna talk about transferring these hangers. All right, y'all, so now that we have the exhaust line out, what I like to do is I like to lay out all of the pipes along with it so you know where everything goes. So here's our new mid-pipe. So I laid that out next to the existing OEM, and this is where we're gonna transfer our hangers. It also helps you not only keep the same hangers on the same side, but it also makes sure that you get them in the correct orientation. So we're gonna work that hanger off in a second. We see the X pipe here in the center laid down with the 2 additional pipes here, also already pre-attached. Right here, I just slid the X pipe in. And again, you can see where the hangers are going to go and in the correct orientation. So go ahead and work these hangers off and transfer them. And once those are off, we're going to hang the mid pipes and the X pipe back into the car. Now, with the hangers themselves, these can be a little bit of a challenge sometimes. I find, honestly, just doing them by hand is the easiest way. There is a tool that you can spread, put in there and spread. I find it doesn't make that much difference. So I just take it and I just grab this and I just work it off this post, transfer it onto the other post in the exact same orientation. Okay, so go ahead and transfer this top hanger and the two mid ones, and then we're gonna go back underneath the car and hang these pipes. All right, so just a quick review. As you can see, the entire exhaust line is out all the way down. That's great. So now, remember how we laid out all of the pipes before. So what we're gonna wanna do is we're gonna wanna grab the driver's side mid pipe that's gonna go on this side. Now, we are gonna get one of the 3-inch clamps. Make sure to slide on one of the 3-inch clamps on this side, and then you can slide the mid pipe on, because that expansion will go around the pipe, and then you can put that 13mm bolt back in to hold the side up. Now, passenger side doesn't have a hanger to hang it on, so we're going to hang the middle X section as well to help hold the passenger side on. But get two 3-inch clamps, one here, one there. Go ahead and put the driver's side on, and then we're going to walk through the rest. All right, so it's all 3/4 together now, but I want to walk you through it because it makes sense as you just kind of jigsaw puzzle it all together. So you've taken the 13mm bolt here on the driver's side and you put this up. That will hang the driver's side mid pipe on just fine. Now the passenger side doesn't want to hang on quite as nicely because you don't have a hanger like that. The hanger's up above your cut, but it will partially hang on. So as it's sagging right now, I've got it partially in place. Now, what you can do from then is then take both of the end pieces here and here and hang these up, because you've got your hangers here on both sides. So I hung both of these up on both sides like this. And then you can use that to anchor the X pipe here in the center. Now, all of your clamps need to be on first. So at the top, I've got the two 3-inch clamps. I've got my ball clamps here, which we'll talk about here in a second, because we have to make sure that those are in the proper orientation or they will hit your cross brace. And then I've got two more 3-inch hangers here and here all set in. Now, when you do all of this, you do not want to have this all tightened down. You want to have them just a little bit snug to keep the pieces together, because when we put the end on, that's where we'll want to work with all of our fitment. We still need to transfer the hangers from the OEM back box to the end. We'll do that here in just a second. But once you have all of these pieces in place, go ahead and just tighten them up a little bit to hold it on. Now, these are... you use both a 13mm and 16mm. These are 16mm nuts here on all of these clamps. So just tighten them down enough that the pipes will stop moving, right? Because they're all really loose right now. And that includes the ball clamps. All right, so for the ball clamp connection right here, you need to make sure that the bolt here and the connection is up and out of the way. So this is tipped up towards the top, so I came at it from an angle to tighten it down. And this is just snug right now. Same thing on this side. You cannot have them on the bottom. If they're on the bottom, they're gonna hit your cross brace, okay? Which we definitely don't wanna have happen. So we're gonna be working on all of these clearances once we get the ends on. So just make sure these are snug, but do have these in the proper position before you get started. Because we will work on fitment, and they need to be loose enough you can move them a little bit, but not so tight as to have everything locked into place, okay? So get your clamps tightened down, and then we're gonna get back out from underneath the car. We're gonna transfer the hangers off the back box to the end pieces. All right, y'all. So now what we're going to want to do here with the track edition, as you can tell, what a difference, just massive difference. Which car to be louder? This is the way to do it. So we're going to install this simulator plate for your exhaust motors. Now, because the track edition does not have valves, it doesn't have flaps in the exhaust. So AWE has created the simulator plate that we're going to mount here on the bracket, and we're going to transfer our exhaust motors. Now, do not transfer these between sides, okay? These need to make sure to be staying on the same side. So here I am on the passenger side, and this is going to mount into this plate, as you can see right here. But in addition, there's also this pin
there's a pin that you need to put into the motor itself right here. And this can be hard to do one-handed. I'll show you what it looks like when it's done. But this little bar goes into your motor, which goes into these swing positions here in the simulator. So take the existing 3 bolts, put your motor in place with the bar here in place, and then we're going to mount it to the bracket. The bracket mounts on with these screws. You put the lock washer, so here's the bolt, lock washer, and then a big washer, and these mount from underneath like this. Okay, so go ahead and get all of these installed, get these installed on both sides, and then we're going to get back underneath, and we're going to hang these in the car. To do that, you need to take off your hangers, just like you did before. Take off this back hanger and transfer to this post right here, and we're good to go. So get all of that transferred, and we're going to move back underneath the car and get these up. All right, so we've got the Track Edition end on here. I've only got one side on right at the moment. As you can see, the other side is not on. You want to take your 3-inch clamp, go ahead and just hang it off the pipe like you did in the upper sections, slide it onto the pipe. You can take the OEM hanger here, you can put the nut back on to help hold it in place, and you've got your motor here. Now this kit comes with extensions for your motor wires. You're going to want to take that and go ahead and put the extension on and clip it up here into place. I'll do that in a moment. You can take any of the extra. If you back off one of these 10mm screws, you can tuck this cabling in back behind the heat shield right here. There's enough of a gap that you can protect it and get it up and out of the way. So once you have this all hung in place, then we're going to start working with fitment. Now, in addition, and I don't have them out of the bag yet, but there are these little round, like basically nuts. It comes with an Allen wrench that you slide over the end here, that you'll bring over the end of the post to help keep this on the right place in the hanger. So this doesn't move on the hanger too much. But I generally save these for last, which is why it's not out of the bag yet, until I get the rest of my fitment in place. So hang both ends. And then have your clamps, again, be tight enough that it'll hold everything in place. But if you push on the pipes, you can still get them to move a little bit, because then you're going to want to walk down the entire exhaust line and make sure you have good fitment. And your pipes here are in the center. So you can see I've got a decent amount of play as I work this on the hanger. See how as it moves over to move this into the center of your rear diffuser. Because again, you want that centered as well. So get all of this in place. So hang both pipes, tighten them down, and then we're going to talk about fitment. All right, guys, so once you have everything all tightened up and you have good clearance, and I'm going to point out some places where you need to have really good clearance as you go down the line. So you've got your top clamps here tightened up, and as we come down, we have your cross brace back on, and what I highly recommend is you put something in as a shim. I used a plastic trim tool and put one on each side to make sure I had good clearance here against the cross brace as I tightened all this down. You also don't want to push it up too high, because it'll hit the heat shield up above as well. And then as we come down the car, there's a couple of places, again, for good fitment. We've got here between the subframe off your differential, and it's where my fingers are up right here. It's very, very close, but if you're not careful, it'll touch, which is bad. But you can also, that's just my hand on the pipe. You don't hear metal against metal. Okay, same thing as we come down and we look at the subframe right here. There's a clearance spot right here. But you have all that down, and then you come all the way back down here to the end. If you haven't plugged your valve controllers in yet, make sure to do that so you don't get an error. And we'll actually step to the outside, and I'll show you how to hang the tips really quick. And this is almost done. All right, guys, so we've got the tips on. This is really, really easy. So you stagger them a little bit. We went with the silver ones here for the track exhaust. Comes with a bolt, with a washer and a nut, so you just square them down. Usually in the inner one is flared out just a little bit, so the logo centered on both sides. They're about even. And the nice thing is these are adjustable. So if you decide they're out too far, or you want to make them in a little bit further, whatever you want to be, it's easy to adjust. But with the tips on, this is actually all done. So make sure, give the entire exhaust line underneath one last pass, check for fitment, check to make sure everything is tight, make sure your cross brace is on, everything's good to go. If so, go ahead and put the car on the ground. Good job, you're done. All right, you also go ahead and clean up and put your tools away, and you can tell this really isn't a hard project. It just takes a few simple tools and some time to get the project done. Don't forget, everything you'll need will be listed in the video description below, including the link for the AWE Track Edition exhaust. Now, what a cool product. This is definitely going to make your car sound much more aggressive. Now, everybody asks this, what's it sound like? This is the installation video. Make sure to check out my complete comparison video from not only stock
the new catback exhaust from AWE, but the track edition as well, and you can decide which version is best for you, so make sure to check out that video. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Please make sure to click like and subscribe. It makes a genuine difference to my channel, and I would truly appreciate it. Thank you for watching. I'll see you on my next project.